Hello everyone, Joel Tooth again, and today I'm in Circleville, Ohio. Circleville, Ohio is about 25 miles south of Columbus, has a population of 14,109. This is the county seat for Pickaway County. I'm right here in the heart of the town right now. They've got the Norfolk Southern line that goes through town, and they've also got CSX on the outskirts of town. So I'm gonna see if I can get some trains, at least on the Norfolk Southern line, maybe one on the CSX line. All right, it's gonna be pretty cool. Let's go ahead and start the video, son. Here we go, Circleville, Ohio. Circleville is well known for the annual pumpkin show, and this year will mark 120 years of the pumpkin show. All right, here we go. Got an eastbound. Was that over a long one or what? Man, that was a good train there. It's an empty coal train headed eastbound, going back to load it up again. Probably somewhere in West Virginia. And you can see 2 Trackmobiles right here. Look at that, the yellow one, and way on down there's an orange one. Got 2 of them in the same shot. Pretty awesome. Load those cars with grain. That is a huge place. Great customer. Oh, but wait, there's more. Of course there always is. We got a train coming, son. Wow, that was a good one there. They really kicked up the breeze too. That felt pretty good getting that breeze coming off of there. Nice out today though. All right, up here in Circleville, Ohio. Thanks for watching, everyone. That was pretty cool. Especially watching it come around that curve down there and then hitting that 5-track railroad crossing. That crossing has 5 tracks. Pretty sweet. But wait, there's more. There always is. Yeah, I stopped over here just north of Circleville. There's a big pile of railroad track right here. It's used track. They cut it into panel sections from the main line. They're replacing track. And you got the CSX track right there behind it. And we're going to catch a train from over here too. See that big embankment? CSX track is right up there. So I'm going to climb up on the hill over here somewhere and film it. This is a pretty interesting spot right here. Alrighty, here comes the train. CSX this time. They're booking. Coal train. Wow, was that awesome or what? That coal train was booking, and that deep view on the back there too. That was pretty cool. All right, I'm just south of Circleville, Ohio, between Circleville and Columbus. I believe it's near Lockbourne. Anyways, thanks for watching. That was pretty neat. There's a pile of railroad track laying right there. Look at that. Got some panel sections. Looks like used track. Been doing a lot of work down here lately. Okay, thanks for watching. That was pretty neat. Wow, that was the worst road I've ever driven on. I just drove a couple miles down this lane right here. Look at this. And it's mostly flooded. Good thing I got four-wheel drive. There's a few times where I about bottomed out on this lane. Woo! Got the CSX line over there. You got the Norfolk Southern line on the other side. This used to be some kind of a traction line, like an old trolley line. It's in very bad shape now. There's my truck over there. But yeah, I just drove through a couple miles of just water and mud. Hoping to catch another train over here in between this. Looks like a good place to catch trains. Kind of in a boondocky area, but it's nice. I like it out here. It's a nice place. Do not ever drive down this lane unless you have four-wheel drive. Make sure you got something that sits up high, because that's pretty bad. Anyways, let's catch another train over here. Sweet. Look at that. What locomotive was that? This is a defect detector right here. Just eating lunch and I heard on my radio the train coming. It was hard to find a good spot to film it though. So there's defect detector. Let's see if it works.
Norfolk Southern, milepost 681.0, track 1, no defects. 746 clear, red, 1 east.
There you go. That was pretty cool. There's the equipment for the defect detector with the paddles and then the lasers. Got the paddles detecting and dragging. Got the lasers detect hot box, hot journal.
Southern, milepost 681.0, track 1, no defects.
All right, so there you go. Oh, there's a lot of junk and trash laying around here too. Look at all this stuff. Looks like people dump stuff back here. And there's the CSX line over there. Well, might head back up into town or somewhere. Got lucky and got that train. See if we can drive out of here. All right, so check this out. I returned over here to Circleville. There's a little spur. Check this out. This spur goes back about a half a mile. I'm at the very end of it here. There's about 4 tracks back there and it's still in use too. There's no freight cars at the moment, but there's a little bit of shine on top of the rail. And also they replaced some of the rail at a crossing, so you can tell it's still in use. I'd spend more time looking at this, but we got another train coming right now. Clouds keep coming and going too. I think it's getting ready to storm, but we got another train coming, so let's catch that. Just wanted to show this little spur to you. About a half mile long. This is pretty neat. I'd love to catch a locomotive back here moving something around. All right, let's catch a train. All right, we finally got a train coming. And I'm over here at the 5-track railroad crossing. Train's gonna come around that curve right there. Look at this, already starting to activate the gates. 3 tracks right there. And you got 2 more tracks right there. And here comes the train. Wow, that was pretty good. You always get a good breeze kicking up when a train goes by. It's not really very hot out today though. It's only about 80 or so. Yeah, I was just talking to somebody. Somebody was asking what I was waiting on, because I sat over here for, oh man, I was over here for a couple hours before that train came, about to fall asleep. I was asking them about this building. They said that homeless people sleep in that building right there. That'd be a noisy place to live. You got the trains on the right hand side of the main line. You got the grain spur over on the left. That'd be a noisy place to try to get to sleep. But supposedly there's a bed inside there. I'm gonna walk around the front and have a look. Wow, here's inside the building. There is a bed right there. A bed and a couch. Just don't say you can get any sleep done right there though. Got the busy road right over there. Plus there's a road right behind me that goes alongside the railroad track. And all these railroad tracks everywhere around here. The grain elevators, well, you can't see it. It's way back out of sight. Over that way to the right somewhere. There's a whole bunch of grain cars over there right now though, with a couple Trackmobiles. But there you go. This is an old building. Some kind of an old railroad building. That doesn't really look very comfortable. Oh well. Cool, check it out. Trackmobile in use. The wheels are spinning on it. They're having a hard time pulling these cars. So they're loading all these cars of grain. The wheels were spinning on that thing a second ago. Let's see if they try it again. Wow. Can't pull it. Here we go. They're pulling it. They just have to pull it up just enough to load another car over here. Right over there. I just saw a guy up there, up on that platform. Look how big this place is. Thought they're getting ready to go again. It's hard to tell what's going on because it's so noisy, the traffic here. Why is that telephone pole gotta be there? So that thing's remote control. Oh, there's the guys up there. It's got that harness on, so if he falls, it won't hit the ground. That's pretty cool. Safety feature. See there, they're loading the cars right here. Load them on the top. Oh, I got dust coming over on me. I could be able to stay in right here very long. Notice the car in front of it, how far down the springs are. Oh, it's pulling up again. Down here at the end, the springs aren't down as much because the car's not loaded yet. Those springs will condense down when this thing gets loaded, just like the one in front of it. Trackmobiles down that way, right there. They just pulled it up a little more. Got the car almost halfway loaded. They've got another Trackmobile sitting way down there. That's from a different company. It's not actually Trackmobile. It's got a different name to it. I forgot what it is. We'll check it out here in a minute. All right, here's the other one up close. It's called Shuttle Wagon. I'd like to see how many that thing can pull. There's where they load them right there. That string of cars is just about done. Just about got it loaded. This is a huge operation. What a great customer. There you go. Pretty cool. Just barely moving. Look at that. Wow, it's doing it this time without spinning. Is that cool or what? Remote control. The guy who works it is way down there, up on top of the car. They got these cars all loaded. This is pretty cool. Look how far away I am. This camera does really good. This is my number 3 camera. I've been using it a little bit more here lately. Cool. I think they're getting ready to move these again. This time we got the operator inside the cab. See how strong that little engine is. This is cool. He's blowing it for that little kid. There's a kid over here. air horn signal. Got some runners. You're gonna get stuck in the middle, dummy. That's why you don't run the gates. Spun. That thing's pretty powerful. It's a Titan. Hardee's is closed. It says it's closed for maintenance. That guy's got to be feeling pretty silly right now. Got trapped. Wow, that was pretty cool. That little thing's pretty strong. It was spinning a little bit earlier. Maybe it got a little hump and it just got over top of it. That was pretty sweet. Hey, check this out. They just uncoupled that Trackmobile from the cars and they're running it back down the road this time. Coming back over to the grain. Can't hardly see him. There he is. He stopped over there, right next to him. There's a lot of traffic here, I'll say that. All right, well, that one down there is a bust, I guess. They stopped, but I think they're getting ready to start the other one up. The orange one. So let's see if that thing can pull a big cut of cars. They're gonna pull some cars across the road over here and load them up with corn. Way down this way. I just saw somebody, they got inside there and they got back out. So maybe they're getting ready to run that one. Hope so. Okay, there comes the Trackmobile back. I'm between both of them. I can't figure out how to get the best shot without missing something from the other one. There you go. That is cool. Oh, the other one's over there. Look, we got two of them running. This is some cool live action here, son. Wonder if they ever hook two of them together and do a double header. I wish I would have got that one crossing the road though. Well, there you go. A day with the Trackmobile and shuttle wagon. This is the most I've ever filmed of Trackmobiles. I got that one last year at Melvin, Ohio, pulling a bunch of cars. They are pretty strong. Getting ready to go again. I didn't even know that these things were remote control, not until today. Not going. Getting ready to turn and getting ready to move. Well, cameraman's ready. Check out that car. It says Leslie, my daughter's name. Wow, is that cool or what? They got a lot of cars down there to move. So they got two of these. They're busy. Man, is it windy. Hope it's not on the camera too much. Woo! Windy. That's pretty cool. He's operating that with a belt pack. I can't really see it from here though. I'm zoomed in 2.2 times. So he's got it lined up for this one over here now. See that? I'm gonna load that car. Look at the difference. See the springs on the cars? The one he just loaded, the springs are compacted way down. The next car, the springs are all the way to the top. A loaded car and an empty car right there. Day at the grain elevator. Oh man, right when I'm leaving. Only one train today went on that line the whole day. And right when I'm leaving, there's nothing I can do about it. And that one had a Union Pacific engine and a Kansas City, what is it again? Kansas City Southern. 2 engines on that one, northbound.
For